allow me to ask you this. Are you looking for possibly the best consumer close-back noise-canceling true wireless headphone on the planet right now? And yes, if you're watching this, you probably fall in one of the two camps. A, you want to know whether this new one is still a legit piece of kit, a worthy upgrade from the previous gen, and or whether it reclaims the best-in-class crown over the competition. Or B, you're simply new to the true wireless headphone space. In either case, welcome to this episode, and I'll tell you what, you're starting out in the right place, guys, because the Sony WH-1000XM5 totally deserves your attention and potentially your hard-earned cash, even if it's on the pricey side. The XM5 is jam-packed with tech, processing power, and now, as you can see, sports a new design language. But do these a successful headphone make? Well, I tested this thing in detail over 3 weeks, so in this video, we're gonna talk about things like sound, noise cancelling, and phone call quality, and my top likes and dislikes before closing with a final score. So, are you ready to check this thing out? Let's do it! The 1000XM5 retails for an eye-watering, wallet-emptying $400, but that nabs you a teched-out tour de force feast for your ears. And I recently did a close-up unboxing look at the XM5 if you want to check it out up here. Although some high-level specs you might be interested in right now are like two QN1 chips that handles active noise cancellation and sound respectively. There's Bluetooth 5.2 on board with support for AAC, SBC, and LDAC, auto pause play, speak to chat, quick attention mode, multi-point Bluetooth connection, although I have to say that multi-point only works with LDAC off. Now, battery life, based on my testing, is 23.2 hours with ANC on. That's pretty strong actually. And then switching it to LDAC naturally drops that number down to 16.7. In the business end of things, we now have a smaller 30mm driver doing all the grunt work compared to the 40 on the XM4, and I'll talk more about how that affects sound quality later on. Headband is nice and generous in terms of padding. The slider right here is nice and smooth, almost hydraulic-like, and there's this slight pivot right here, and also it pivots in this axis, but not inwards as we talked about earlier. The padding on the ear cups, man, super plush, replaceable just like before if you want something new. But bear in mind, third-party accessories are kind of rare right now, are hard to come by, so you have to wait on that. The XM4 used to have the wear detection window exposed right here, but now it's behind the padding, which is nice. And in terms of functionality, here's what I noticed both in the XM4 and the 5, still the same thing. It works best. The wear detection is if you lift up the left ear cup while listening to media, and that way it stops. Because if you do the same and lift the right side only, it usually doesn't work. So it tells me that's a one-sided sensor. Now, the materials are similar in feel and quality to the XM4, but in terms of execution, they seem arguably better here. And that's partly due to the design. It's just cleaner, smoother, less joints and, seam lines and such. So it looks more quality, even though it's all plastic. Oh man, I really like touching the ear cups. They don't, hold any grease or fingerprints, and it just feels so good in the hand. Now, in terms of the touchpad, it's only available on the right side. The response time, it's much faster now on the swipe pad. Same thing, same functions, up, down, forward, double tap and such. Though it would have been nice, as I mentioned before, to have something on the left side too, because let's face it, not everybody has right hands, or sometimes we injure our right hands and need to use the left, or if I'm a lefty or something like that, I would prefer something on the left side too. That would have been nice. Now, the other thing that's different too is this NC ambient button. Can you see that? It used to be the custom button on the XM4, now it's been swapped back to the ANC ambient button just like on the XM3. The creatively called headphone app remains pretty much the same. Same all-white look. I personally wish there was some kind of dark mode. Lots of functions to fiddle with as always, and everything is located where they have been. So if you're an old-time Sony user, you know exactly where to go pretty much, even though there's lots of text. I'm not going to go into a detailed look only because I've done it before, so please check out the video above if you'd like to see more. There are, however, a couple of quite obvious changes from the XM4's version. Here on the far right, we have a fourth new tab called Services, where you can pair your Spotify account to the app, and that's pretty much it, because if you go here for details, the only thing advertised is Spotify Tap. I'm not sure if the headphone app itself will smartly adapt to whatever compatible services, and maybe I just don't have it installed on my phone right now, that's why it's not showing. But if on face value this is all you can do, that's kind of sad, innit? Which leads me to the next change in the whole app under system. If you remember, the custom button has been changed to the NC ambient button on the XM5 now. And you can change that or adapt that to use a quick access function. Basically, it's a double triple tap to launch a or perform an action. And if you tap the gear icon, you can map it to, guess what? Spotify tap or none. That's it. It's kind of pathetic, isn't it? We're outside doing the Bluetooth range test, guys. This is Public Enemy doing Break the Noise. There's the song playing at the end of my deck right here on the phone on the Pixel 6. And we're going to take these Bluetooth 5.2 equipped XM5s from the back of my house towards the side. And we'll see how well these things... Let me lower the volume of these a little bit. There you go. And we're going to see how far these things can roam before we start getting any kind of signal cutouts. I'm expecting good things on this. How you guys doing? Still going strong. I'm not hearing any kind of cutouts. Woo! Check that out. We're heading up. Oh, there you go. We're around 48, 49 feet. My guess is I can hit all the way down to 60 plus feet down the road here before we get a disconnect tone. Oh, now it's really bad. Pointless to listen to music now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It died. Disconnect, or it just had a nice tone. I like Sony's new notification cues, all that little instrumental Japanese harp or something like that. Yeah, those are cool. You can see how these things sit on my head. I think based on compared to the XM4, these are a little bit bigger. I liked when the XM3 and the XM4s came out. They were compact for what they offered, and these, I think they're a tad bit taller on the GearUP. So don't quote me on it, but it looks bigger, feels bigger, but it is super comfortable. This is not something I recommend you do, or this is not what it's made for, but I'm gonna run with this. Not stable in the least bit. It's just so much wobble. Try to carefully get down the stairs here, but yeah, definitely not for working out, definitely not for anything faster than a fast walk. But super comfy. Now that we tested this, so the signal strength is expected nice and strong. I'm going to take you down to the road to get some sound samples to do the mic test for phone calls. Let's do it. I hope we get enough traffic to get you some good samples. So this, oh, here comes an 18-wheeler. Check this out. I'm going to keep talking, testing, 1, 2, 3. How does that sound? Not bad, right? It's better slightly than the XM4s, just marginally, but I think it is very good. Good enough for you to speak on a noisy street. If you go walking or something, or if you're mowing your yard, you can talk to somebody and it would kill out most of the noise. Now, one thing I want to point out too, I'm not sure if you can see the leaves rustling in the background there. There is some mild wind coming this direction. The XM5s don't officially have any kind of wind noise reduction mode or anything like that, but it seems to be built into two things. I think it seems to be built into the algorithm. And number two is, as we saw earlier, the location of the mics themselves for the phone call itself is hidden in the stem, at least two of them, one on this side and one on that side. And combined with the other three on each side, so 4 all together on each side, they're doing some kind of magic that just kills off the wind and does a whole lot better with just general noise reduction, which is great. And one thing I noticed too, when you get a phone call, if you're already previously in active noise cancellation mode, it will go into some kind of pass-through mode. It's not full on. If you go into the app, it's not showing pass-through or ambient mode. It would still say noise cancellation on, but it lets some sound through just a little bit. So I think that's a good thing for situational awareness in terms of safety. When you get a phone call, you don't want to be like completely drowned out from where you are, just for safety reasons. Here comes another car. I'm going to keep talking. How does it sound? And another one coming up the street here. I think Sony did really well with these. They're slowly improving. They used to be known for crappy phone call quality, but look at where we are today in 2022. So nice job, Sony. Noise cancelling on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Ambient sound. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Noise cancelling off. Testing 1, 2, 3. It is windy right now too. Blowing right in my face. Noise cancelling on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Ambient sound again. Focus on voice turned off. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Noise cancellation on. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Noise cancellation off. Testing. 1, 2, 3. The addition of a second QN1 chip to balance out the workload was a good call on Sony's part. Manual and automatic functions like adaptive noise cancelling, switching modes, or even the quick attention function all activate with a snap and enthusiasm that the XM4s can only dream of. Even though the drivers in each of these ear cups are now smaller by 10mm than before, I wasn't worried when I first heard the news. I was surprised, but definitely not worried because surely Sony wouldn't sabotage itself like that, would they? But in fact, and rest assured guys, and if there's only one thing you need to care about the XM5, this would be it. The sound quality. Man, it has taken on a newfound verve. In my reviews of the XM3 and 4, if you remember, I praised the warm tuning, but other users consider that kind of setup woolly or generally good for genres like classical or jazz. But in this latest version, Sony with its new driver design has found a middle ground of sorts, where the definition and clarity have both been heightened while keeping much of the warmth and playfulness and timbre, you know, like how an instrument is supposed to sound, all still in place, which to me are all like synonymous to the XM series. And also, imaging and separation are slightly wider now, which is a step in the right direction. And for example, when I listen to Destiny's Child, they sound clean and distinct in the song Say My Name, which in other headphones can easily get tiresome because if you remember the song of the bright and lifted nature of the instruments. But the XM5, it keeps things tight, precise, yet projects enough warmth in the mid-bass, in the mids, and the voices to prevent fatigue. And by the way, one thing you don't hear mentioned very often is how these headphones can make lower quality sources sound like $8 million. Like last night, I was listening to piano jazz in standard quality on Spotify and still came away with a huge smile on my face, very satisfied. And that's saying a lot about how impressive the processing and the tuning the 5s have. Another benefit of the extra processing horsepower this thing has becomes apparent whenever you have to escape from noises around you. The noise cancelling, guys, it nullifies low frequencies like AC and engine sounds and softens the edges of things like conversations and higher pitch sounds better than ever before. And the question is it back to being the top of the class? Well, I dare say yes, but I'll also say that the improvements are merely marginal over the XM4. And some of you have asked me about this. How is hissing with ANC on? Well, it's pretty much non-existent. And oh yes, another plus point too with this ANC thing is that the sound profile whenever you're listening to media barely changes whenever you switch between pass-through, active noise cancellation and off. In lesser devices, they lose bass or something like that whenever you turn off one of the functions, especially ANC. The XM4 did it, but to my ears, it's a tad more refined in this version. The ear cups, I'll tell you what, are super comfy. Your ears will feel like they're sitting in a really plush, cosseting armchair, for the lack of a better explanation. And when you combine this with the superb and improved weight distribution across the entire unit, I can wear these things for hours on end, no problem whatsoever. And also, in my time with it, in terms of heat retention, and some of you have asked me to test this, it's similar with the XM4. So in the middle of summer, your ears can get swampy, but on the flip side, the same warmth would be fantastic in winter, kind of like ear mitts. The design and the workmanship, at least to my eyes, is more organic now. It's less industrial, there's less exposed joints, and there seems to be more of a visual flow between the ear cups and the headband. Personally, I like it. However, as much as I like the design and the materials, I absolutely hate the headband on this thing. Yes, it's comfy, but introduce any kind of head bob. See that? It just slides right off. I think it just broke. Yes, and it slides right off my skull in no time flat. If you decide to dance to your music, forget about it. And unfortunately, it seems like the headband in the XM series is trending towards being slimmer with each generation. Just look at it, the XM3s were pretty wide over the skull, I like those. The XM4 was somewhere between the 3 and the 5s, and by the time we get to the 6, I think all we'll have is a bloody bungee cord for a headband. Oh my goodness. Oof, the $400 asking price. Every time I look at it, it feels like a punch in the gut. Is $50 more than before retail from the XM4? You really have to want this if you want to play, and if you're planning on waiting for significant discounts on this thing, well, that's rare on the XM series if history is anything to go by, unfortunately. It might look different from the outside now, like an offspring of a Bose 700 and a status audio flagship, but to me, it's the innards, the insides that count. And boy guys, does it deliver. The sound quality is more mature than ever before, catering to more music genres. The noise cancelling and phone calls move the bar slightly higher. On the flip side though, I do think the price creep is really unnecessary, even considering things like global shortages and inflation. Yeah, you just don't screw with your customers like this, Sony. And if you already own an XM4, I don't think you need to upgrade just yet. And also, if you want a good and, dare I say, cheaper yet still not cheap alternative, you can check out something like the Bose 700 that goes for $330, $350 nowadays. So with all that said, I'm gonna give the Sony WH-1000XM5 a GearUP score of 8.6 out of 10. That's like 0.3 points higher than the XM4 for what it's worth. And this is how I broke it down to get the final score. If you have any questions about how I got there, feel free to comment down below. Well, I hope you enjoyed this review of the XM5. It was a lot of fun checking this out for the past few weeks, brand new and everything, and then sharing my thoughts and opinions with you guys. I really hope though that it helps you with your future purchases. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, show your support by subscribing to this channel, share it with your friends and family, give me to 50,000 subs, visit my Patreon page, that'll be super awesome. And also remember to thumbs up if you like this video and comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down to this thing right here. This is my SD card for my camera. Thumbs down to you because guess what? I shot all this video, the XM5 video and all the B-rolls and all the photographs, and this thing decided to die today. And so I've been stressed out trying to film everything again. So yeah, dang it. Thumbs down. Thumbs down to the pro grade 128 gigs high end. This is supposed to be high end and it decided to die. So anyways, I'm so stressed, it's not even funny. Yeah guys, remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world. That's what I always try to share with y'all, because guess what? The world needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love y'all very much, and I'll see y'all the next time.